Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Torano, founder and a movie critic from ChasingCinema.com, but most of you know me better as one of the senior staff writers for the Rebel Yell. Today I'm going to talk about a very, very important movie, and that is Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, starring Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Michael Caine, and Jessica Chastain. Now this is probably one of the most anticipated movies of the year. So to explain how I feel about this picture, I'm going to open up with a Steven Spielberg quote. Every time I go into the movies, no matter what it's about, it's magic. Now, any movie lover can agree with that statement. However, there are times when you are sitting in a theater and you know what you are watching is something monumental, something that is going to change the world of motion picture. And that's what Christopher Nolan's Interstellar does. Now, before you just assume I absolutely love the movie, there was a few problems I'll get into in a minute, but first, everyone, has been comparing this film to Stanley Kubrick's classic 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it is obviously hard not to because when his 1960 classic came out, everyone was in awe about what he was able to do and create without much understanding of space and being able to see as much as we have now. However, even Christopher Nolan has done the same and gone above and beyond of what we really know and what we really have been able to see, and takes us into a world that I promise you've never seen before. This is a journey unlike any other. And before I get into my criticism, that is something that needs to be established, is that this film is truly unlike anything you've ever seen. It is a visual spectacle like any other. I mean, beyond anything else in the film, the world that he takes you into, the space and the planets that we stumble upon, it's just incredible. It is so mind-blowing and breathtaking, like I said, unmatched. However, I will say this is probably one of the first Christopher Nolan movies I felt wasn't very like his style. A lot of people enjoyed his earlier film Inception because how brilliant it was shot, visually. However, I wasn't a huge fan of it just because I wasn't on board with necessarily the message and themes of the film. However, like Inception, Interstellar is a very brainy movie that takes you through a world of twists and turns. However, I think Christopher Nolan very much stated that this movie not stated literally, but through his films stated that this movie isn't so much about what happens as to what it's trying to say, and this whole movie focuses around how love can pass through dimensions and time and gravity, and the whole movie's focus is just on the power of love, essentially. And that is a wonderful theme, except I don't believe that the characters were developed enough and their chemistry didn't really work enough to the point that I thought they conveyed that message as best as possible. Matthew McConaughey did a phenomenal job in his performance, but he's the only one that I was actually really able to emotionally connect to and really feel for. There are two scenes I would say that are really, really well emotionally. However, the rest of the movie seemed to really lack Nolan's emotional connection, as many felt for Leonardo DiCaprio and other characters in Inception or any other characters in his films. It just felt like some of the dialogue was really campy, and it just didn't feel like it belonged. There are two types of movie in Interstellar. There's the space side of it that is extraordinary and spectacular and a true marvel, and then we have the side on Earth before Matthew McConaughey goes into space, and then during his voyage into space, and it just doesn't live up to the other side. Now, granted, I think that the power of what Nolan has shown us with his film visually, it actually makes up for those mistakes. However, it is very easy to see that this is not the best of his characters, if you will. I did have some major problem with the characters and just their development and some of their dialogue. I just think it didn't convey as well as it should have, especially in a movie like this. However, I don't care who you are, movie lover or not, you need to go see this movie because it is spectacular. It is a true staple. It will be a true staple in the world of motion picture. I also had the fortune and pleasure to review Big Hero 6 this week, and that was another movie that I absolutely loved. Beautiful animation, great laughs, and phenomenal characters. To read my reviews on those films, you could go to ChasingCinema.com/Interstellar or ChasingCinema.com/Big Hero 6. However, you could always go to unlvrebelyell.com to find my work, where you'll be seeing a piece on the UNLV Short Film Archive, as well as my review on Interstellar. Always pick up a paper of the UNLV Rebel Yell and support your local paper. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jacob Toronto, movie critic and founder of ChasingCinema.com, but most of you know me better as the A&E Senior Staff Writer for the Rebel Yell. I'll see you next week at the movies.